reading the simplest and greatest way to broaden life's horizons. Arthur Schnitzler's selected works and the depth of human nature. When you read this article, you may think to yourself, I'm far from books, reading is only for the knowledgeable and cultured, or rather than spend time reading complex texts, I would rather sleep or watch a drama. You're right, opening a book in the midst of our busy lives can be a difficult choice. However, I want to share with you today that reading is not an arduous or boring privilege reserved for an elite few. Instead, it is the simplest and most powerful method to enrich our lives. To guide you on this journey, I'd like to introduce you to the selected works of the great Austrian author, Arthur Schnitzler. What we often refer to as knowledge and cultivation is not limited to academic degrees or grand theoretical knowledge. It ultimately means broadening our perspective in understanding people and the world, developing empathy for others' emotions, and gaining the wisdom to skillfully handle life's many challenges. Schnitzler's selected works are filled with gem-like narratives that offer the treasures of human understanding and life's wisdom. Even if you have limited reading experience, his stories will shake your heart and evoke deep empathy, for you will discover yourself and those around you reflected in his characters, as if seeing your reflection in a mirror. 1. Why is reading necessary? Equipping life with a navigation system. Some may think reading is disconnected from reality, but in truth, it is the opposite. Reading is a powerful tool that helps us understand the world more accurately and richly. Through reading, we analyze complex social phenomena, empathize with others' emotions, and uncover solutions to our inner conflicts. As we navigate life, we often face countless decision points and unpredictable situations. In these moments, reading acts like equipping your life with a navigation system. It guides you when you're lost, suggests alternative paths when unexpected obstacles arise, and even helps you discover new routes you never knew existed. Stories within books are condensed forms of the author's experiences, wisdom, and insights. Through indirect experiences, we encounter numerous scenarios of life without actually living them, learning about the multifaceted nature of human beings and the intricate workings of society. This becomes a strong foundation that helps you lead a wiser, more self-determined life. Especially in literary works like Schnitzler's selected works, the stories go beyond just conveying knowledge. They capture the emotional depth and psychological conflicts of humanity with exquisite detail, maximizing our capacity for empathy. We share in the joys, sorrows, fears, and desires of the characters, experiencing firsthand the complexity of human existence. This indirect experience broadens our understanding of others while also confronting us with emotions within ourselves that we had yet to recognize. Knowledge and cultivation are not merely intellectual pursuits. The ability to understand and empathize with others from the heart is the true beginning of genuine cultivation. 2. Who was Arthur Schnitzler? A psychologist author exploring the depths of human nature. Arthur Schnitzler, 1862–1931, was an Austrian author and physician active during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a period known as the fin de siècle in Vienna. His life overlapped with the emergence of Freudian psychoanalysis and the transformative changes in European society. His father, Johann Schnitzler, was a renowned otolaryngologist in Vienna, and Arthur himself received medical training and briefly practiced as a doctor. This background significantly influenced his literary work. Through his interactions with patients, Schnitzler gained profound insight into hidden human desires, the unconscious mind, and the true nature of individuals concealed beneath societal masks. Schnitzler fearlessly explored fundamental human desires, sexual issues, the fear of death, and the anxiety and despair of individuals within the rigid and hypocritical social climate of his time. Particularly notable was his effective use of the literary technique of internal monologue, stream of consciousness, which brilliantly unveiled the complex inner thoughts of his characters. This method allows readers to experience these characters' psychological states vividly and directly, as if reflecting their own thoughts. So impressed was Freud with Schnitzler's work that he once praised him, saying, "You already know much of my discoveries through literary intuition." Schnitzler was thus a pioneer in exploring the depths of human psychology within the realm of literature. His works sharply criticize the hypocrisy of Vienna's upper class, the double standards of a male-dominated society, and the vulnerable position of young women. At the same time, they do not lose sight of deep compassion and understanding for humanity. Schnitzler does not merely criticize society but also portrays the universal struggles of individuals who suffer and search within that society. This is why Schnitzler's works continue to resonate with us today, transcending the era in which they were written. 3. The core content and implications of Schnitzler's selected works, Meeting the Me Within. Schnitzler's selected works is a collection of his renowned short and medium-length stories. Within this single volume, a diverse array of human characters and their inner conflicts, as well as their friction with society, are powerfully encapsulated. Let's examine what significance his world offers us through a few representative works. 3.1. Lieutenant Gussel, The Mirror of the Self and the Masks of Society. Lieutenant Gussel captures the inner monologue of an officer named Gussel on a day of frustration. After hearing a degrading comment at a bakery, Gussel feels insulted and requests a duel. However, he discovers that the person responsible is a non-commissioned officer, and thus, he cannot honorably fight back. He becomes deeply distressed, even considering suicide. Yet, when an unexpected event leads to the non-commissioned officer's death, Gussel is relieved and feels as though he has regained his honor. Implication: this story vividly reveals how we all often present a hypocritical and double-sided image within the framework of social roles and public perception. We may hold irrational thoughts and desires in our hearts but outwardly act as composed and rational people. Gussel's inner monologue reflects the hidden anxieties, pride, and sometimes cowardly nature within us. The reader is prompted to reflect on the question, am I truly different from Gussel? And gain profound insight into the complex inner life of humanity and the social hypocrisy surrounding it. If you've ever felt pain due to others' opinions or struggled with a sense of disconnection between your inner self and outward appearance, Gussel's story will evoke strong empathy. 3.2. Fräulein Else, Youth, Purity, and the Tragedy of Greed. Fräulein Else, Miss Else, tells the story of a young and beautiful girl named Else, who visits a wealthy relative to request financial aid to resolve her family's economic crisis. However, the relative demands an extremely degrading exchange for the loan. Else wrestles with intense inner turmoil, ultimately facing a painful battle between the societal expectations of others and her own dignity. The narrative follows Else's stream of consciousness, vividly conveying her anxiety, anger, and despair. Implication: Fräulein Else is a powerful work that exposes the tragedy of social weakness, particularly the exploitation and humiliation that young women faced in a male-dominated society. Else's desperate situation and crumbling self-esteem evoke deep sympathy and anger in the reader. This story not only reflects historical issues but also compels us to reflect upon the persistent social inequalities, gender discrimination, and greedy tendencies that still exist in our modern world. Having empathy for others' suffering and developing a critical perspective on societal injustices are essential virtues of a truly cultivated person. Else's story will inspire you to pay attention to the shadowy corners of the world and kindle thoughts for creating a better society. 3.3. Anatole, Love, Desire, and the Futility of Relationships. Anatole is a series of short stories that reflect a skeptical and playful attitude toward love. The protagonist, Anatole, falls in love with many women but ultimately remains lost in his search for true love. He views love more as a sensory experience and a game of emotional caprice rather than a serious matter. Implication: this work offers profound insights into the complexity of human desires and the futility of relationships. We all seek love but are also wounded and anxious by it. Anatole's character may reflect the unstable attitudes toward relationships in modern society. Schnitzler reveals the self-deception, selfishness, and risks of superficial relationships hidden behind the name of love, prompting us to reconsider the true meaning of human relationships. Through this story, you will reflect on your own views on love and relationships and contemplate what is truly essential in communication with others. 4. The message Schnitzler offers to modern society. Although Schnitzler's works are set over 100 years ago in Vienna, the human nature and social issues he explores are remarkably relevant to our current reality. Acknowledging the complexity of human nature, we all carry countless thoughts, emotions, and desires that differ from our outward appearances. Schnitzler reveals this duality unflinchingly and teaches us the wisdom to understand and accept the complex inner lives of ourselves and others. This cultivates the ability to look beyond surface-level questions like "why is he like that?" and delve into the intricate psychology behind them. A critical perspective on social hypocrisy and injustice. The characters in his works either suffer under the strict moral codes and hypocrisy of their time or exploit those very codes to satisfy their desires. This mirrors issues prevalent even today, such as abuse of power, bullying, and image-centric lives driven by social media and mass media. Schnitzler encourages us to observe social phenomena critically and seek hidden truths. Engaging with life's fundamental questions, his works continuously raise essential questions of life that we cannot avoid: love, desire, death, honor, and ethics. This encourages readers to find their own answers to questions like, how should I live? And what is truly meaningful in life? Such philosophical contemplation is vital for enriching life and establishing one's own values. 5. What is true cultivation gained through reading? Let's return to our initial question. The phrase "a person without knowledge or cultivation" doesn't truly exist. Every human being has an inherent desire to understand the world and lead a better life. Reading is the most powerful means to satisfy this desire and transform potential into reality. Reading Schnitzler's selected works is more than consuming stories. It is the experience of conversing with a great author from the past and viewing the world through his eyes. Through this process, you will gain the following true cultivation. Flexibility of thought. You'll develop the ability to break free from rigid ideas, imagine various possibilities, and consider multiple perspectives of complex issues. Expanded empathy. Understanding the lives and emotions of characters in books deepens your understanding of others' joys and sorrows, enriching your real-life relationships. Opportunities for self-reflection. By recognizing your own reflection in the characters, you'll confront inner contradictions and desires, fostering moments of introspection. Enhanced language and expression skills. Exposure to diverse vocabulary and refined literary expressions will sharpen your thinking and allow you to express your thoughts and emotions more richly. Wisdom and insight into life. Gaining a deeper understanding of human nature and viewing society critically will enable you to make wiser and more insightful decisions when facing life's challenges. In conclusion, Schnitzler's selected works can serve as an excellent introduction to the joys of reading, even for those not familiar with it. His works do not present knowledge or cultivation as lofty ideals on distant peaks, but rather as familiar and relatable aspects of everyday life. Reading is not merely the act of deciphering words. It is a grand journey that involves glimpsing the lives of people from different eras, listening to their concerns, and ultimately reflecting on your own life. Through this journey, you will discover the latent wisdom and cultivation within yourself and live a life that is even more fulfilling and meaningful. Don't hesitate, open Schnitzler's selected works and uncover your own unexpected treasures. I sincerely encourage you to begin this journey to broaden your horizons, for it is the simplest and most magnificent adventure you can embark on.